Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I will be setting up my bullet journal for February, and the theme that I'm going for this month is based off J-Hope's mixtape, Hope World. I really like the design of the mixtape cover, and it's always been an idea for one of the themes that I wanted to try out. So since this month is his birthday month, I thought this is the right time to pick this theme. Before I move on any further with the video, I do want to say that my camera did die twice while I was filming this. So there are two awkward cuts in the video, and I apologize in advance for them. So as you can see, I've started sketching out the cover page, and the main font that I'll be using throughout this month is a font called Flubber, which is the same font that is used on the Hope World mixtape cover. The main design for this month's cover page is pretty much the same as the Hope World cover, but I've also gone in and added a bit more details to it. So I've sketched in the goldfish from the Daydream MV and the peace sign and an airplane doodle to really fill up the cover page. Also, if you see the brown notebook throughout the video, just know that I'm using it as a stabilizer to help stable my hand, because the difference between the desk and the notebook height is quite high, so it does get uncomfortable when you're drawing close to the edges. So this is just something I do to make it a bit easier to sketch. After finishing the sketch with a pencil, I've gone back in with a fine liner to trace over the lines. Here I'm using a 0.3 fine liner pen. So here comes the best part, which is the coloring part. I've stuck as closely as possible to the original colors on the mixtape cover. But I do use some other shades as I was coloring in the cover page to like really fill in the spaces. But the main colors that are used is red, orange, lime green, purple, and light blue. Now that I've colored in most of the doodles, I'm gonna start working on the background, which is basically just red. Um, as a tip, if you outline like the coloring area first, it does make it a bit easier. Honestly, this coloring in the background red is starting to feel like a really big bad decision just because of how long it's taking me. So yeah, a word of warning, if you don't have a lot of time or you're not very patient, maybe don't try this because although it looks quite fast here, it actually took me like close to an hour to finish coloring the entire page. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind before you do this. I didn't think of this earlier, but if you really want this red background without coloring it, you actually could draw all the doodles on a separate piece of paper and then stick it on some red colored paper, which probably would save a lot more time. But I have no life and then decided to color it in by myself. Okay, so now that the background is done, I've gone in and then filled in the rest of the doodles that I didn't color before and also the text. After coloring everything in, I felt like the text didn't really stand out. So I went back in with a thicker fine liner. I believe it's a .8 fine liner this time, and then outlined the text again and also added some shadows to help it stand out better. Moving on from the cover page, I've already sketched out the content planner and the playlist spread to save time, but basically I'm going in with the same font for the headers as I used in the cover page. And I'm adding similar doodles to the ones that you find on the cover page around the borders to keep everything together. So really it's kind of the same thing. I'm using the same colors that I used and of course I'm coloring in the background red again. And yes, it did take just as long, but I really liked the way it turned out. So no regrets there. Another realization that I made while coloring in the spread was that if you had more doodles, that would fill in more space, which means less red. So yeah. Actually, now that I'm watching the recording again, it's actually quite cute too if you leave the background white. So instead of filling the entire background red, you could add more red accents into the doodles, but keep the rest of the spread like this. Again, I'm using a thicker fine liner to outline the headers again, and that's because I forgot to do that earlier as I was tracing everything. And I've also added drop shadows to the boxes to really help it stand out from the background. So my camera did die as I was sketching out and outlining the weekly spread, but basically what I do for the weekly spread is I use a double spread. For this week on the left, I've added in the header and a mini calendar, and on the right hand side, it's a kind of like a weekly to-do list that I've broken down for the week. And basically that's all I do for my weekly setups because I go back in and write like daily entries during the week. So like there's not really much that I could set up for. So that would be it for this video. I really don't do a lot of spreads for my monthly setups. And the monthly calendar is also missing because I already did that in the beginning of my journal. So yeah, that would be it for today.